Fanzone, united by the game, powered by Moore's World of Sport.
Welcome back to Fanzone, your hottest and latest sports show, leading discussions and debates on the Zimbabwean sporting landscape. I'm your co-host Sips.
And I'm Steve Vickers, and well, what a game on Monday night. Zimbabwe going down 2-1 so gallantly to Egypt. The Warriors in their opening game at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. So much to talk about, the squad, the structure, the tactics, the coach. We're going to go into all of that and look ahead to the matches against Angola and against South Africa. Can we get the points we need to get out of the group stage? We're here from Morocco as well, as Larry is there for us exclusively for Fanzone. And in the studio, welcome back to StarFM sportscaster Simba Chiminya.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Great to have you with us on the show. And also welcome back to former Warrior David Kutyauripo. Hi, David.
Hi, Steve. It's nice and it's good to be back here.
It is. Yeah. We know when you're here, there's normally fire.
yeah. True. It's all about fire and saying the truth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you happy? You're not happy.
Yeah, like at the moment, I'm not happy. I'm disappointed with yesterday's performance. I want to be honest with you, because by the end of the day, if you're playing the 7-time African champion Egypt, you're not supposed to allow them to come on you. You know, like yesterday, the whole 90 minutes plus, we were defending, which is a negative side, you know, because if you're playing those teams, you need to go on them as well. Like the way they will be coming on us. You look the way we scored the first goal. If we'd keep on pushing the way we're doing, I think we're going to get a positive result.
That's very interesting though. Yeah. But they had 77% of the possession, Egypt, but it was only 2-1. So surely there were some positives. Scoring a goal against Egypt, it looked like the Warriors were also surprised by that, and to lead first. There are surely some positives to come out of that match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that there were some positives, you know, like the coach is coming in and we changed the coach. We were left with 1 month to go for the tournament, right? One positive thing which I want to applaud the coach is the fighting spirit was there. But by the end of the day, if the fighting spirit is there, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to bring in offensive guys like everyone saw it yesterday when Bone came in. He was holding to the ball, and when Chireka came in, me usually I'm a fan of Chireka because he brings in a different dimension when he's playing. So, and the other thing which I cried for yesterday, of course, fine, you want your two right backs to play in that match. Jarai was in front of Godfrey. I didn't see any difference. Maybe if we should have played maybe Godfrey at the back as the right back, God knows Marina as the right back, it was going to be better. Or maybe if we had played Jalai, then we put an offensive guy ahead of Jalai so that he gives the total time to the guy who was playing left back. Because if you can rewind to yesterday's game, you could see that left back for Egypt was giving Jalai a total time. If he passes Jalai, it will be 2 against 1 against Godfrey. And Mamushi, you know, if you give him chance, like you saw the goal which he scored, it was a brilliant goal. The guy who was playing at the centre half, who plays for Copenhagen, right? I think he delayed that much. If he had closed that gap, maybe Mamushi was not going to get that shot.
I guess probably the guys were tiring by then. We'll go into the coach's strategy a bit. Those match stats, 77% possession Egypt had, 23 for Zimbabwe. Egypt 35 shots at goal, 8 for Zimbabwe. Shots on target, 11 for Egypt and 3 for the Warriors. So Egypt certainly dominated play, but we put up such a big fight there. And 9 saves for Washington Ruby. What an outstanding performance. So what about you, Simba? Are you happy?
Yeah, happy and disappointed at the same time, because I look at it, it's a game that we thought we could get away with a point at least, or even if we could manage to been able to manage the game well, we could have at least got that win, which could have been a famous win. But when you look at the gap between us and Egypt, and you think, the coach tried in terms of coming up with the right formation in the first half, because we stopped the pressure. We didn't allow them to score, and we managed to score first, because if we managed 3 shots on target, and one of which was a goal, it showed that that are the game plan. Because if we had wanted to go toe-to-toe with Egypt, there's no way that we're going to stand it for the entire 90 minutes. And the good thing in the first half was we forced Egypt to make a change, because their game plan was not working. So I think the difference now between us and Egypt was the substitutions. In the second half, when Egypt substituted and tinkered with the formation, and Omar Mamusha was drifted from the position that he was playing early in the first half, because you could hear even the commentators thinking that he was the one that was going to be taken out. So the coming in of another striker and managed to have him play better in the second half. And I think, towards the end of the game, now we are tiring, and our substitution didn't make the right impact that probably the coaches really wanted. And the gap between us, you look at Mamouche, Man City, you look at Mo Salah, Liverpool, and you have those people now, and making the difference with the touch that they had. So you give them just small or a fraction of space, they can punish you. And you look at that goal that Mo Salah scored, we should have concentrated more. But it was now difficult because of the intensity that Egypt had in that game towards the end. And in the end, we lost. So I think it's the difference in the arsenal that we had, because if we had players coming off the bench, we were going to make a difference. It was going to be better for us.
Sure, I like the BBC's match report. The Egyptian king, they said there was a king there, but before the king, there was a prince. Prince Dube scoring for us, and that was just a wonderful moment. I think there was so much for us to be happy about in the game. Some people say we shouldn't celebrate or be proud if we didn't win, but for me there were many things for us to really be proud about, I thought, Sips.
Yeah, a well-constructed goal by Prince Dube, well executed, under pressure. Ruby in the gates as well, brilliant. Steve, last week you had your reservations about Macaulay Bonnie. He was on the pitch yesterday, he had a bit of time on the park. What did you think?
I thought he was not up to this level myself. I also said I think we shouldn't be taking the likes of Jonah Fabish, because he's in the 3rd tier in Germany. I was wrong there. He had a really good game in midfield. I thought he did extremely well against such opposition. And his dad would have been so proud of him if he was still here, the former Warriors coach Reinhard Fabish. And I thought that was beautiful that Jonah played so well. Reinhard Fabish couldn't get to the AFCON. With the dream team, it was harder to qualify then, but his son getting in after being on the fringes for a long time, really, and getting his chance at the big stage of AFCON. I thought he played really well, Simba.
Yes, indeed. And I was just looking on social media, and the polls are from Zimbabweans and talking about him, saying he was the man of the match for most people. But I also thought that Daniel Msendami really played well as well. And I think those two really did well for Zimbabwe. And for Jonah Fabish, I think the way that he was composed in the midfield, and you've got those big stars, and he didn't show any fear, and it really played well for us. And even when Washington Navai was still in there, you could track back a bit, and he was putting pressure on Egypt. So it was difficult for them to start the build-up from the back. And I think it was just like you said about Macaulay Bonnie. He didn't really exert himself well when he came in, and probably the plan was that he was going to have more impact, but it was not to be. And I thought that's where we lacked in the second half.
Yeah, maybe there's the dangers of having a new coach just before the tournament, because he was still trying out combinations, is what it looked like with a
and also in terms of even match fitness itself, remember Macaulay wasn't really playing. He just joined a new club there, and I think that was also something that affected him, and just hope that in the upcoming games that he could have improved. And maybe, with the time that the coach had with the players, and just seeing him for the first time in a competitive game against Egypt, and then you plan better for the 2 games that are remaining against Angola and South Africa.
Yeah, okay, David, hit us with it, the strategy. How do you rate the coach?
Yeah, to be honest, every coach has got his own type of tactics and the philosophy. Like for him, I think the pressure was on him. That's why he tried to talk to the guys that we are playing one of the best nations in Africa, which is Egypt. Let's go in there and try to defend. You get what I'm saying? Because most of the guys who are from the European city, from the East or whatsoever, right, the Romanians, they believe in defending, right? That's why you saw yesterday Zimbabwe was on back foot every time, you know. So if I was him, sometimes when you're playing the champion, the strongest nation in Africa, let the guys be free, express themselves. Because by the end of the day, they don't have any pressure on them. The pressure will be on the Egyptians, because everyone will be looking at them the way they play. So I think he needs to change for the last 2 games which you are going to play against Angola and South Africa. Especially against South Africa, it's a must win. It's a must win.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get tired if you play with that much running, is that
Yeah,
correct?
because you know, like me, I'm into fitness, conditioning and strengthening. You know, those guys, they were too much on us, to be honest with you, because you can't defend 90 minutes playing against Egypt, one, and also as a coach, like what I said in my sentiments, right? When we leave the hotel rooms, as a coach, you don't tell your players go and mark, but let's go and play football. Because by the end of the day, when I'm leaving my house, I can't say I'm going. During our time when we were playing for Dynamos, Cape United, even the national team, I can say I'm going to mark. How can you be seen when you're only marking? You're supposed to play the boy as well.
Yeah.
So that's the negativity which I saw yesterday. Because you will never win a game when you're not attacking, right? You can defend, but you can't defend 90 plus minutes.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
We saw that defensive line 5 across the back in the second half.
Yeah.
Very, very.
You know, like
block, yeah.
when they scored the equalizer, I've noticed one thing, that we had 3 strikers in front, three guys in front. There was a gap in between the midfield and the strikers, right? Everyone was now sitting at the back. So when you're playing Mamushi, you're playing Mo Salah, and the other guy, you know, that strong man, I think he's been in the national team for quite some time.
Mustafa Mohamed?
Exactly, yeah, that guy, yeah. He's a big man. He's a big man. And also the substitution, like what Simba said, Ziz when he came in, and the other guy who came in, they brought in new dimension to Egypt, and they were coming on us. And you can't, like, you know, you have the players. Nakamba was in there, but he can't keep on marking 90 minutes, bro. Yeah. We need to change the last 2 games so that maybe we'll get a positive result.
Yeah. Okay. So Larry is there in Morocco for Fanzone exclusively. You can watch his coverage on our Facebook page. And Larry spoke to Warriors coach Mario Marinica at the press conference on Monday night. Interesting comments.
Hello, coach. I'm Lauren from Zimbabwe. Very, very heartbreaking defeat, as you rightly put. What would you say didn't go well, especially in the second half? Because you guys played well in the first half, but the second half, Egypt were all over us. What do you think really went wrong in the second half of the game?
Well, to be honest, I was saying to the player now in the changing room, that sometimes happens with teams that are a bit small. They're afraid to win matches. They're afraid to actually push hard like they did in the first half, and they drop off even though we shouted and we give lots of instruction before halftime during the match. But the players, they still drop off too much, giving far too much respect to the opponents. We can't do that. If you want to win, like we said, to win the match, and that's the way we started, to win the match, you can't drop off. These days, the fantastic players like Egypt has, they're going to be holes, they're going to pick ups. So you have to be really aggressive and to believe in your chances and not to be phased out. Otherwise, you're going to keep your status. We don't want that. I believe in my players. That's the reason it has been recruited. And we believe that the players we put on the pitch today, they could have won. But it is what it is. It's just one match. And we are very proud from what actually we've done. Now we have to move on and to get meaningful points from the other 2 matches.
Yes, some interesting words from head coach Marinica saying the Warriors were a bit scared to win and not believing in themselves. Definitely a theme which he has believed throughout the camp. Steve, surely, by now speaking of Marinica, he must be growing on you. 3 matches from him, 2 losses, going toe-to-toe with Egypt, a win against Qatar, and we scored in all 3 games. He must be growing on you.
Yep, definitely. Much better to watch than Michael Nice, where it was uninspiring. Remember, we only qualified basically because we beat Namibia home and away, and this time we were punching toe-to-toe with Egypt and gave such a really good account of ourselves and gave excitement. So, yeah, he said, afraid to win, David. Halfway through the second half, we're saying we could get 3 points against Egypt. Then they score. Then you're saying we could get a point. This will be amazing. Is there a mentality issue there?
Yeah, sometimes some of the guys, it was their first time to play at that bigger tournament. I want to be honest with you. So maybe the stage fright affected them, and also maybe the tactics, the team talk when the coach was talking to them. I think I'm emphasizing on defending. If he had let the guys do what they know best, it was going to be better for us, because we have some other guys who are very talented, maybe who are sitting on the bench, who are offensive, right? He was supposed to bring them as early as the 40-60 minute, so that we keep on taking the game to the Egyptian. When Kutyauripo came in, much was expected of him, but he didn't come to the show, right? If you'd bring in Shireka, that's why I always talk about Shireka. That guy, he can take the responsibility as one. So I think things will be fine in the next game. I don't know, but the coach must have confidence with the guys. Yeah.
But I agree with you on one thing, David, because I think, like they say, that the second half belongs to the coach. And if you say that we're afraid to win, yes, I'm supporting. I like his bravery, but on this one, I thought it's him who failed, in the second half, than we saw the Egyptian coach doing, because the Egyptian coach, his substitutions were all spot on. They managed to change the game. And so for him, he was the one who was supposed to change the game, because in the first half, the players had done their part, and he should have seen the grey areas that we were lacking as a team, and should have brought in players that are also going to change the complexion of the game. Because in the last minutes, in terms of game management, you should have also helped the players how to manage those last minutes. Because if you've got, every coach should know the stages which are really crucial in a game. The opening stages of the match, when you're about to go for halftime, soon after halftime, and the last minutes of the game. And you should have done well in managing the last few minutes of the game.
So close.
Yeah, because I've noticed one thing where we lost it as well as a nation. Did you see the way Egypt were responding when they lost the ball? It's all about pressing. Us, it was very difficult for us to press, because why? We had now tired legs. If we had maybe made some substitution which were going to come in and do something for us, it was going to be better. Egypt, from the first whistle, they conceded. They never changed the approach to half time. When they came back, they never changed. They were pressing, they were coming on us, and more worse when they brought those new pair of legs. Everything now has...
I guess they knew a chance would come. Knowledge Musona didn't play. We believe he might have been injured.
He had a knock, and so is Divine Lung as well. He had a knock. And I think those were the experienced players that had been there before. At the stage, played Egypt in 2019 and knew a bit about Egypt. And you'd also, even in terms of leadership on the pitch, they would have provided better leadership and game management, particularly towards the end, and the point that I was trying to put across.
So a gutting 2-1 loss for the Warriors against Egypt. Let us know in the comments, should we have taken 3 points or maybe even just walked away with 1? And with that, it's the first round of the AFCON Predictor, the first 4 matches. We are recording this after those first 4, and we are seeing some brand new names in the Pride of Africa AFCON Predictor. It's Mr. Stud Muffin who is leading on the leaderboard. 50 points from 4 predictions. Steve.
50?
Yep, it's insane. How did you do?
I thought I was on fire. I got 17 points from the first 4 games. 3 correct. I didn't get an exact prediction, but I got 3 correct. So I thought I was doing well.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. I got the Mali Comoros game right, so I was surprised with myself there. But guys, join in on the fun. Mr. Stud Muffin, hopefully you will keep your spot at the top. And I'm also enjoying seeing the new names on this AFCON Predictor. No William McKenna or no Simba, who won the Morse PSL Predictor. So interesting to see.
This one is going to be a lot of fun, Sips. A lot of fun, yeah.
A lot of fun indeed. And more so on the Warriors in AFCON. They're going to be playing Angola and South Africa next. Now, South Africa, the Bafana, as you said, Simba, they're going to be using this as a precursor, a little bit of a pre-taste for their World Cup. How are the chances looking for the Warriors?
I just look at the records that how we played and how we fared against Bafana in the past. It has been really close. But at the same time, this is a tournament. We just need to fence our chances. There's no another way. We need to win to get at least. If we are not to win, we are going to try as much as possible to get a point away from one of them. But we need to get at least a win against Angola because it's the first game. And then hopefully even a draw against South Africa might see us through. Because, now because of the enlarged number of teams that go through to the knockout stages, if you get at least 4 points, you can go. The game
even 3 points would do. Yeah. If you're lucky, if your goal difference is okay, you can sneak through as one of those best third place teams, and our goal difference is only -1. So probably one win.
Probably one win.
2.
So
we just need to beat Angola. Yeah. And that's the target. Once we beat Angola, we go into the match against South Africa with that much pressure. But if we fail to beat Angola, it means we are going into the game against South Africa with so much pressure. But when you look at South Africa, both from the technical team, Hugo Bruce, tactically, he knows really how to play at Africa Cup of Nations or just playing, international football. And it will be really difficult for us. And the cohesion that is there within the South African team, I think, you saw what happened when we played them in the World Cup qualifiers. Of course, we drew against them, but you could tell that South Africa had an upper hand in that game. So when you go into that game, we don't want to go in there chasing a victory. We just want to get in there without much pressure. We'll be playing better than if we are under pressure.
Yeah. And how about for you, David? What do you think our chances are in the next couple of games? Are you expecting the Warriors to get through to the knockout stages?
I think if we change the mentality which we have at the moment, we might go through. To be honest with you, most of the guys who are playing at the national team at the moment, they're playing in South Africa, and they know their type of play, right? Because by the end of the day, some of the guys, they play with them week in, week out, right? So we need to pull up our socks, especially against Angola. Let's go in there and be more offensive, right? For us, because for a game to be won, it's all about goals. If we don't score, you don't win. So it would be better for us to go and change everything. Like what we did yesterday, okay, fine, we're supposed to keep on defending so that we don't concede. Maybe we will be lucky nation in terms of the third best team in the tournament, right? So that's my thing, yeah.
Yeah, more hopeful than I was after inspiration from the Monday game. It's quite tight, 3 rest days, Angola, then only 2 rest days to South Africa next Monday. So that means the guys will really be stretched there. It's interesting when you look at South Africa and Egypt, both with a lot of players from the local league, which is not the case with the West African teams where virtually all the players are playing in Europe, but with Egypt, Al Ahly, best club in Africa, that's the backbone of their national team, and for South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns and others. And I think that's just something that's encouraging for us because we had such an exciting 2025 PSL season with Scotland Moors and other new clubs, I think raising the standard, and this will be a bit longer term, it'll take probably a few years, but I think probably we could make more use of local players in the Warriors squad because I think our league does stand to improve in the coming years after what happened this season. So that's a bit different, like I say, from most teams, certainly the West Africans. You probably only find a goalkeeper who's home-based and the rest are all playing in Europe. But I thought that was interesting because they're clearly both very strong sides, Egypt and South Africa.
Yeah, so much to look forward to in the AFCON and the international scene. But even locally, the PSL released their fixtures for the 2026 Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season. And match day 1 actually has got a blockbusting opener, Hard Rock versus Scotland on match day 1, just to get the year started. Simba, that is going to be truly exciting.
Yeah, truly exciting steps. I think the first week and the second week as well, because in the second week are also going to have Dynamos Highlanders in that. But for Hard Rock, I think Hard Rock and Scotland, the money bags in the league, and they'll be splashing money, getting the best players. So it will be a test, and also they'll be having new coaches, both of them. Norman Mapeza at Scotland and Kelvin Kayindo at Hard Rock. So I think, when you look at the signings that these teams they're trying to take the best of the players from the other teams and assembling their own teams. It will be really interesting and exciting, and I'm pretty sure by that time Chawanda Stadium, the main art stadium, will be complete, and that will be the first game in that stadium. And it will be really nice.
Yeah, and well done to the PSL. The fixtures even have dates for the whole season. We've never seen that before, so you can actually plan your year in football because we know the match day dates, which is really helpful for broadcasters and the media especially. So it shouldn't have been rocket science that we waited so many years, but well done to the PSL for getting the fixtures out before Christmas, plus dates as well.
Yeah. David, as a former Caps, Dynamos player, what are your thoughts and opinions when you see the new big money backs such as Hard Rock in Scotland? Are you happy for the PSL? I think it's doing good for the PSL, or are you skeptical of their use of the finance and how they buy the players?
I think one thing which I want to applaud the new guys, the money bags who are coming in to the Premier Soccer League. They are bringing in new dimension into Zimbabwean football, right? Because good players now, they are opting to go and play for these newcomers to the PSL. And one thing for sure is these guys who are coming in, look the way they are doing their things. It's professional, right? Because the setup from the bottom to the top, they are doing it right. Whereas if you look at my beloved Dynamos, right, the way they run the club is not spot on. It's not spot on because by the end of the day, the recruitment system is not nice at Dynamos. And also at Caps United, I played for Caps United, right? I think the CEOs and the secretaries and the treasurers, they are supposed to give the power to the coach so that he identifies the personnel which he needs to play for Caps United. Because if you see, like now, some of the executive guys, they have their own players which they want them to play for Caps United. Maybe the coach doesn't want this player in his system. So it will be very difficult for the coach. Results, if they don't come, like now, Tekshua Shiragwi is going to Caps United. Maybe results don't come. These executive members, they will be not the ones to be pointed fingers at. It will be the coach. So I think these big three teams, they are supposed to put their house in order so that they attract best players in Zimbabwe. Because everyone wants to play for Dynamos, everyone wants to play for Highlanders. Because if you go outside of the country, the big three teams which are known is Dynamos, Caps United, and the Highlanders. But now it's another way around. You see, Scotland did what Rhinos did when they came from Division 1 and won the league, right? And one thing which I wanted to talk about is Scotland is playing against Hard Rock, right? My question is, how is Norman Mapeza going to do it at Scotland? Because he's a new guy and they have over 35 players on board. how is he going to assemble the team, right? He is going to have a headache. I don't know if he's going to work with the same guys who are there at the moment, or maybe he's going to bring in new personnel, because he has his own philosophy. It's different from the guy who was there, Tony Raindirai. He has his own philosophy. And also now for Hard Rock, they're coming in as the newcomers. They have seasoned guys as well. The guys who are over 30. I don't know if Kayinde is going to work with those guys, because this will be an exciting match for the Zimbabwean football fans. Everyone will be going there. And I applaud Scotland, Sakupanya for the job well done, bringing in new things, new dimension into Zimbabwean football. It's now exciting. It's now different from the previous years. And now the guy who is coming in as well from Chawanda, the president, is bringing in new things. So there will be competition. Simba as well. We're not supposed to forget about him, because he brought in another things into the PSL. So it will be an exciting 2026. If you lose the first game, especially these kind of guys who are coming in, maybe that's the end of it. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe some other guys who are coming in, I don't know if Hunters are going to be there. They might do like Sunderland in England now. It's a marvel. It's a team. It's a team which everyone wants to watch playing. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, David, you mentioned that like sometimes Dynamos don't have their house in order.
Yeah.
I was actually able to catch up with Callum English Brown, and he's obviously making his return to the PSL. So exciting for him. A little bit more on that later. But he was in talks with Dynamos as well, and he didn't sign there. And it's sort of the same thing as you said, like not having their house in order. So Dynamos are struggling to attract the players. Do you think it's going to affect them this season as well?
You know what? All this guy, it goes back to the Marriott scenario, right? Because by the end of the day, people, they want to pour money where they have sanity and where they have trust. You understand? Because if I'm a businessman, I can't just bring money where there is no good administrators and good leadership. Yeah. You understand? Because you want to count every cent which you put into the club to account, right? The problem with the Dynamos now, Cape United Highlanders, why is it that they are not attracting good players? They are no longer the households of Zimbabwe football. 1, 2, they are not into it. Like everyone now who feels like he wants to play for Dynamos, he just carry his bag and go to Dynamos, because they don't know the culture of Dynamos. Dynamos from way back, it was a team which can graze points, whether they're playing good, whether they're playing bad, beat it home, beat it away, they would try to graze a point. But now, and Rufaro was one pitch, was one stadium which you say when you're coming to play against Dynamos, fear will be in you that we're going to, the atmosphere, you understand? One from the fans, they are so close to the stadium, and the way these guys, they'll be playing fighting spirit. I don't see that happening at Dynamos now, because the way they are recruiting the players, it's now different from our time. Because our time, even I myself, when I was going to join Dynamos, I would tell myself that let me go in there and give competition to the guy who was playing my position. But now sometimes you just walk in and start playing, without knowing how to wear that blue and white jersey, how to wear that green and white jersey, black and white. It was very, very, very difficult years back. But now it's walking into the park,
Yeah, so eyes will be on Dynamos this season, but also for the 4 newly promoted teams. Hard Rock taking on Scotland in the first match day, FC Hunters versus Moors, Agama versus Caps United, and Bulawayo Chiefs and Highlanders going head to head. So a bit of a crucifixion by fire for all of the newly promoted teams. There's some some tough competition for them.
Yeah, definitely. And big season for Highlanders, obviously turning 100. So when Dave is talking about those traditional big 3, let's just hope. I think for Dynamos, it's going to be the same as last season. They're going to be struggling to have depth in their squad. Certainly Caps probably are in a much better space than them. For the newly promoted sides, below Chiefs, we know that they can cause upsets. That's going to be exciting to start against Highlanders.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at most of the teams that that are with the resources, they're almost like through in terms of their signings. You look at Scotland doing their business correctly, and you look at Hard Rock also doing much of the signing. FC Platinum, I think, save maybe for Ngezi Platinum Stars or for the top teams. So it's going to be really difficult again for Dynamos Highlanders if they don't get to sign new players, say by the first or second week, maybe first week of February, of January. And you look at Dynamos, they don't have a coach right now. And you look at Highlanders, they don't have a coach right now. Yes, there's talk of Seno from South Africa, but if he hasn't really signed now, and for him to recommend players, you'll be working with somebody who's already here. It's difficult. It's different from a situation whereby you have a coach who is already in Zimbabwe and knows the players and the players to recommend to sign, because the executive might recommend players for him, but they might not the players that he wants to work with, and then it will be difficult again. You'd need to change players during the second half of the season, and even the rumors now that one of their best defenders, Arthur Love, is being wanted by Marinica Diamonds. So if a player can leave Highlanders for Marinica Diamonds, it tells you something about what's happening at Highlanders. And what is it that is attracting to Marinica Diamonds, a team that was fighting relegation last season.
Yeah, I want to add on Steve, like what he said about Dynamos. The most critical party in football is the preseason. If you fail to have a good preseason, you'll be fighting relegation like what they were doing last season, right? So I think they are supposed to go on the market like now, look for a coach who knows Dynamos inside, outside, and who is someone who is brave to take the criticism from those fans, the criticism maybe from us former players, because we want to see Dynamos doing well by end of the day. In Zimbabwe, the problem is, if you say the truth, people they say is big-headed. But look, every time when you're watching football in the EPL, you see those guys who played for Manchester United, you see those guys who have played for Liverpool. They shoot it straight. But here in Zimbabwe, it's a problem. But me, as David Kutyauripo, I will never stop talking the way I see things. And I will say as it is. You understand? Because we want Dynamos, Cape United, Highlanders to be on top. They bring competition to these guys who are coming in, so that they see that we are here we are the most dominant teams in the PSL. You get what I'm saying? This is what I want to see is Dynamos, Cape United. Please, the guys who are running these big three teams, do us a favor. We want to see you up there. We don't want to see you down there. It's different from Hunters, which is coming in. You understand? If I see them down there, it's a given. It's a given, yeah. But now when I see Dynamos fighting, and we at the last game of the season, we start to be happy. After we fight, we played a draw as well. Was it not a draw? Was it not a draw this season? A team like Dynamos, no, Highlanders playing number 9, number 7. It's
that's
not
something that
on.
we've been talking about, the Africa Cup of Nations, because these three teams should be the ones that will be supplying the bulk of the players, the locally based players from in the national team should be coming from the top teams. Look at South Africa. It's Mamelodi Sundowns, it's Orlando Pirates, even Kaizer Chiefs. Because they're not doing well, they're failing to get the players. So it's those two teams that are providing the bulk of the players. You don't have Chippa United providing a player to the national team. So as Egypt, you don't get the other clubs. It's mostly Al Ali with the bulk of the players, Zamalek, and probably now Pyramids that they are the African champions. So all the other locally, the clubs from Africa that provides players, the locally based players, they are mostly from the top teams.
But isn't it the new age, new era now? Like, it's good for football when you don't see the same giants, new teams coming up, competition changes all around, teams go through ebbs and flows of competition.
The same thing that you'd find even you go to Tanzania. It will be young Africans in Simba. No matter how bad they will be, they will find a way to evolve. Remember, there was a scenario more or less like the same year in Zimbabwe, where some people that came with money and started financing teams in Tanzania, but young Africans in Simba didn't die. They evolved. They find a way. And this is something that Dynamos, Highlanders, and Cape United should do.
Wow. So first few weeks of January, very important for Dynamos and other clubs to do their business, David.
Yeah. Because by the end of the day, everyone is on social media. Like now, they want to see what Dynamos Highlanders business they are doing. But by the end of the day, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So it's a worrisome thing. We want to see these big three teams dominating Zimbabwean football. I come back again. We want to see these three big teams dominating. Like Simba said. Like now, way back, even if when you're choosing the soccer stars of the year, you will find Highlanders have 3 guys. Dynamos maybe 4.
But
But
Moore's Scotland was game of the season.
Yeah, you understand? That's the problem now. That's the problem now. Because by the end of the day, big players, they are going for these newcomers. Yeah. So the big players, like now everyone wants to go and play for Hard Rock. I want to be honest with you. Because everyone is talking about that guy is loaded.
Right.
He's loaded, to be honest with you. And whoever is going to make a move going to Chawanda, it's about money. It's about money, because it's not about maybe winning honors, but it's about money.
Wow.
Yeah, because same as Scotland, Sakupanya, he did the same. Same as Simba when he came in, he players they flocked to.
But he's losing players now, and they're going.
Yeah, I think by losing players, sometimes it's the frustration, because a lot was happening in this 2025, especially to Simba. One source told me that when they went for Champions League, the players, they were paid $10, $10. It's a slap on the face sometimes to the guys, because you could have left your family in Zimbabwe saying, I'm going to work. When I go there, the allowance money will, when I come back, it will push us. So if you camp maybe for 5 days, you have $50. It's better for you to be here in Zimbabwe. Yeah. Then I will give you the $50.
Okay.
Yeah,
those are only rumors.
That's rumors. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what happened, but the source told me that. Yeah. So I just want to say to Simba, things can get back to normal, because like now they have appointed a new coach, which is Mandla Mpofu from Bulawayo, and he used to coach Chicken Inn, and he was in Botswana as well. I wish him the best. It's a good club. I believe Simba is one guy. If you negotiate with him, that if you ask for $10, he'll give you the $10. He will not give you 15 because you ask for $10. So that's being professional, right? As a director, I'm not supposed to promise someone which someone something which you will fail to provide, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so there were rumors that a lot of players were flocking and leaving Simba Bora, and then Simba Bora released a statement denying the claims, but it seems that Manuel Ziocha and Donald Badadi have signed to Hard Rock again. Hard Rock doing a lot of transfers. How's this going to affect the Simba Bora season, Simba?
But one thing for sure is Simba Bora will not be one of the title favorites going into 2026. And that is certain, because you can't be rebuilding every year. And now I think, the players that they are also bringing in, they're not bringing in top quality players. And also you've got probably the core of the team leaving. Remember that time when most of the players left with the coach, turned to Scotland. I think, they managed to hold on to some of, the players that could also, help them to rebuild. But this time around, I'm not seeing them getting the players that are of the same caliber with the players that are also living at the moment. Maybe, the talk is that they are also trying to win off some of the high earners from the team and trying to get new other players, up-and-coming players that are not going to really, be expensive, in terms of their wage bill. But all the same, I think that, they need to have at least retained some of the players. Of course, they retained Butolez Ngube, but I thought, you should have tried to retain even the goalkeeper, William Tole, Jonah Dumdadi, Ziocha, because you can't also having likes of Boyd Mtukure also leaving 6 months after just joining the club.
Right. But I think, what, on Simba Bora, right? I think that guy is into business. By the end of the day, if you want to look at it, I once talked about it that Hard Rock is fully loaded with the Americans. Look, most of the guys, they are going there. Because I think Donald is left with 1 year contract, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
Most of the players,
one year.
contract.
So it's better for him to lose them and get something by end of the day. Like Simba said that he is bringing in unknown players to Simba, which is a plus. Because for him it's a business. Football is a business. We can't just want to say we bring David, Simba, Vickers, Dynamos. They stay there for 5 years without getting anything by end of the day. You need to get something because football is expensive in Zimbabwe. Look at the economy. It's not favorable to anybody.
So it's better than them
maybe
moving
quite
for
a few
free.
there are the guys who are enjoying life in Zimbabwe.
Sure.
But it's in terms of football, because you can see it. Sometimes we spend something like 1.2 million in a season. What are you getting by end of the day if you win the championship? I don't want to mention the amount, but it's something which we're supposed to work on.
Simba was very skeptical of the new transfers they have made. Callum English-Brown has signed for Zimbabwe back into the PSL after being at Chicken Inn and Wawa and his couple of stints in the UK. What do you think about him, Steve?
We left here when he was still very raw, so bit of an unknown quantity to me, but could be an exciting one, definitely. But it looks as though they're going to be weaker than they were last season, definitely.
Oh, yeah. So the 2026 season is shaping up to be a bit of a doozy. I'm looking forward to the predictions. It'll be hard to see how that will go. But guys, Simba and David Kutyauripo, thank you so much for sitting in the fan zone with us. AFCON is still around the corner and is still coming through, so make sure you're doing your AFCON Pride of Africa Predictor. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe and comment, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.